Hello everyone! Welcome back to Drop the Knowledge, and we're still in the Efteling marathon where I talk about everything Efteling. Of course not everything Efteling. I do not have time to talk about every little subject, every little attraction in the Efteling, but only the things that I find really interesting and worth noting. If you think, Barbara, there's this main attraction that you definitely missed, or this attraction that I really want you to talk about, please put them in the comments. I will see what I can do. I will see into it if there's something interesting for that. If you have another subject that is Dutch, for example cultural, or a place that you really thought that was interesting, or like what's this kind of habit that Dutch people have that I do not understand, put them in the comments as well. I will definitely look into that, especially after the Efteling marathon is over. I will do the commonplace things that is Dutch as hell. I love doing Dutch subjects. But right now we're going into Fairytale Forest. We're going into the Fairytale land. Sprookjesbos genaamd. En de Sprookjesbos originated in 1952, back when the Efteling was not the Efteling, at least not as an attraction or theme park. It basically had a rowing society, it had some rowboats, it had some swimming areas, it had some nature parks, and that was it. There was nothing else in there. And Sprookjesbos was the first thing that Anton Pieck created for the Efteling. So everything in het Sprookjesbos is based on his sketches, on his ideas, or the more current things are based on his sketches or in his mindset, like how would things look like, how would it be themed, what kind of colors are used, etc. So the Fairytale Forest is nothing more than it actually, like the title says it is a forest part area. It's still nature mainly, but it's filled with little parts where they represent the fairy tales in picture and in animatronics or in like buildings, etc. The stories that are used are mainly from Charles Perrault, the Brothers Grimm, and Hans Christian Andersen. So really European fairy tales that are being used for this. So there are very common fairy tales that you know from Disney as well. So there's Sleeping Beauty, there is Red Riding Hood, there is The Wolf and the Seven Goats. So you will get a lot of different stories, and a lot of stories you already know. So there is Rapunzel, there's the Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty, etc. Those kind of stories are depicted in the Fairytale Forest, Little Red Riding Hood, all that kinds. But there are also a lot of stories that you probably do not know of. There are the Six Servants that I only know like from the Efteling. There's this lovely like giant long neck animatronic that is one of the former logos of the Efteling. I really like that character. They actually made animations of those characters, so very, very cute. You have the Frog Prince, the Clothes of the Emperor, you have the Naughty Princess, the Nightingale, all that kind of stories that are depicted there by animatronics or buildings or however they can do it. One of my favorites is the flying carpet, the flying fakir, because for the longest time I really didn't know how they did it, because it is quite a piece of technology there. In principle it's very easy how to accomplish that. There is this flying carpet on driving on steel wires, basically on a plateau, steel wires, and there's this animatronic and the wires are being pulled from one to the other one. But you do not see the wires because of the tricks that they do with the lighting and with the things. So it's really interesting to look at that and be like, how on earth do they do that? Especially when I was small, when I was little, I was really in awe by that kind of trickery that they did there in the Efteling. The Fairytale Forest also has a lot of interactive elements as well. You can, for example, touch certain items and then a curtain will open and you will see an animatronic. For example, the Troll King being reacting to what you're doing. And one of the latest of those attractions is the Fairytale Tree. Basically a tree with a lot of facial animations. I really was impressed. And the tree is constantly telling stories and reacting and doing things. It didn't work when I was there last time, but I have seen it working. It was really cool. So the Fairytale Forest at Sprookjesbos really shaped Efteling as it is now. It is all shaped after the ideas and the sketches of Anton Pieck, who only joined this adventure, this attraction of at Sprookjesbos, because they promised him they would not use like inexpensive cardboard and plastic and that kind of stuff. So a lot of the buildings are made with concrete, are made with real bricks, are made with real materials that do not like crumple in a matter of years. And one of the things that you will notice when you enter the Fairytale Forest, they also use a lot of scents. So they will actually use perfume and scents to create this effect, especially with Hansel and Gretel, because of course they made the gingerbread house. So if you go near the gingerbread house of the witch, you will actually smell bread and vanilla and cake, and you smell all those sweet scents that will come off a gingerbread house as it should be. Of course, the gingerbread house itself is made out of brick and out of like durable material, but it really sells it. So I have a lot of friends who are afraid of roller coasters. I have friends who do not like the more action-based attractions. But the one thing every person does when they go to the Efteling is visit the Fairytale Forest. It's such a staple thing to do because it is relaxing, it is fun, it is a lovely walk through nature, through a park. So it's a lovely walk through a park, and you see these wonderful buildings and these animatronics, and there are sounds and scents, lightning effects as well if there is a little cabin or whatever going on. And on special days there are also a lot of actors in there as well. When I was there we encountered the Cat in Boots, and he was very funny. I liked interacting with him. So if you go to the Efteling, I really recommend you to go to the Fairytale Forest. If you are a bit sick of all the roller coasters, if you don't want to wait in line, if you just want to experience some nature while in the theme park, go to Fairytale Forest. There is this lovely music going around as well. They come from these mushrooms, those red with white spots. Those little mushrooms, especially around the older area, they are present there, and a lot of people, especially Dutch people, need to take a picture on those mushrooms. It's one of the staple things to do. So if you are in the Fairytale Forest, go to a mushroom, sit on it and get a picture of it. Next time we're talking about Fata Morgana, another dark ride that I really love and has a kind of special history. So see you then. There you go. I say that a lot. I don't even want to know how many times I say those things. But and in 1952 it was also one of the first things that Anton Pieck made for the Efteling. That's not how that thing is constructed. Okay. Let me check my phone. My phone of wisdom. The main stories that are used are from Hans Christian Andersen, the Brothers Grimm, and Renaud Charles Perrault. 80... No, don't go into those stories, it's way too long. Turn around, because the path is getting a bit small. Let's do this. Okay. Of bread and vanilla and cake, and it's just lovely. Wow.